Holy doodle squad. This is Fred Rachani of TSC News. Rowdy Ronda Rousey just demolished Bethe Correia, son of a bitch, in 34 seconds. I'm here at the TSC News space station. Admin and Eugene and I decided to prepare for Destiny to Taken King by preparing up near Old Russia, doing some training. We decided to order UFC 190, and this card was so long. This card, I mean, what time is it now? It's 1:34 in the morning Eastern time. Okay, this was a long-ass card, and of course, I thought, this is going to go by quickly. We got two heavyweight fights. Gadelha and Aguilar is going to end in a finish. The co-main event with Shogun and Lil Nog is going to end in a finish. It's going to be great. And instead, I hate to say, but this card kind of dragged, and there were a few things I noticed besides the fact that Ronda Rousey is already a legend and amazing, and yeah, whatever superlative you want to give her. Shogun, the Nogs, they really should not be fighting anymore. Another thing, and I don't know if it's just the length of this card or the fact that the UFC has run a ton in Brazil since 2012, but even though I felt like this crowd was certainly hot during parts of the show, especially during the main event, it felt like, at least during the pay-per-view main card, it was more of a tamer Brazilian crowd, by Brazilian crowd standards. You know what I mean? They had some of their spots where they cheered or whatever, but really until like the main event and a couple other fights, like one of the tough fights was an all-out war. You know what I mean? They weren't really that loud. So either they weren't mic'd properly, or for certain times they just weren't the typical usual Brazilian crowd that's lively all throughout the fight. But, listen, man, it's 1 a.m. Eastern time there. I have no idea what time it is there, but it's, I'm sure it is late there too. So anyway, let's start from the top. We had Ronda Rousey just destroy Bethe Correia via KO. 34 seconds, round number 1. Ronda just came out, mean mugging, stood with her, beat the hell out of her, and Correia just did a flare flop. Just face down. She was done. That was it. And then Ronda was very classy, dedicated her win to Roddy Piper, who was a friend of hers, who gave her the nickname Rowdy Ronda Rousey. And Roddy Piper, of course, is the WWE Hall of Famer, one of the most influential pro wrestlers and entertainers, really, of all time, at least here in North America and, all around the world, for wrestling fans. Tragically died on Thursday night, was found on Friday due to cardiac arrest. He was very close with Gene LaBelle, who is the mentor of Ronda Rousey, Judo Gene LaBelle. For any hardcore fans that remember him from Strikeforce, he was the one that used to carry the timer on whenever she'd finish her fights in seconds. So, another record for Ronda Rousey, 34 seconds. And I believe, according to Mike Bond of MMA Junkie, this was the first standing knockout in women's bantamweight history in the UFC. I find that hard to believe, but that's what it sounds like. We had the light heavyweight co-main event, which was Shogun against Lil Nog. This was just sad. Crap. I mean, Lil Nog's barely fought in the last 3 years. Shogun lost to OSP. He lost to Dan Henderson at this age. I mean, the guy in people years is very young. The guy in fighter years, that body is old as hell. And he did win via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. But just as a longtime fan, very, very sad to watch. It was sad to watch Big Nog against Stefan Struve. Stefan Struve did end up getting the win via unanimous decision against Big Nog, but same thing there. And with Stefan Struve, I think it was just a case of maybe he hasn't looked good in a couple years. I think his last one was against Stipe Miocic in 2012, which seems like a lifetime. Then he had his heart problems, then he had his panic attacks. He even said after the fight that he was puking 3 hours before, and it affected his cardio. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. I don't know about his long-term health as a fighter. I mean, he is only 27 years old. Hopefully he just needed to get over the hump and get a win to get back on track. But he all things considered, I mean, he got the win, but he didn't look that great. And, Lil Nog looked every bit of 38, 39 years old as he currently is. So that was sad. The two fights that I did not expect to be really much, just because, quite frankly, I don't watch TUF Brazil. It was Reginaldo Vieira versus Dileno Lopes for the TUF Bantamweight Championship. And this was a great fight. I would almost call it kind of like Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonnar-esque. I mean, seriously. These guys went at it, bled buckets. I mean, they literally left it all out there in the cage. And Vieira ended up getting the unanimous decision. and winning the TUF Bantamweight tournament. Although I'm sure Lopez is going to get a contract out of this too. Not a six-figure contract, but he'll definitely get a shot at the UFC. This was just a great fight. This was two dudes that, when you saw them walking in, I mean, I really knew nothing about them outside of the video package that they showed. And by the time they were done with their fight, like, I knew these two dudes were fighting for something that meant so much to them. And at the end of the day, they left it all out there. That's all you could ask for. And even the other one, the lightweight TUF Brazil finale, which was Glaico Franca, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He defeated Fernando Bruno via rear naked choke in round number 3. This was also a pretty good fight, not too bad. Hey, the TUF Brazilians, they brought it. They certainly did. And the heavyweight division, we also had Bigfoot Silva take on Soa Palelei, the Hulk. Bigfoot demolished the Hulk via TKO in round number 2. Kind of slow in round number 1. I didn't think it'd make it past 5 minutes, but it did, and Bigfoot's back on track. Still, post-TRT Bigfoot Silva, completely different fighter. And lastly, on the main card, we had Claudia Gadelha, who narrowly lost to Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who's the current strawweight champion of the UFC last year. She beat Jessica Aguilar from WSOF via unanimous decision. And speaking of WSOF, I heard they actually had a decent card tonight, but the thing is, they aired it tonight. What? What promoter wakes up in the morning and goes, you know what? I'm going to run my mixed martial arts card on national television on the same night, head-to-head, as a Ronda Rousey fight. I don't know if that was a decision from NBC Sports. I don't know if that was WSOF's call. Regardless of whose call it is, come on, bro. Really. We had Demian Maia in the main event of the prelims beat the streaking Neil Magny, who's looked really good his last 6 or 7 fights. Really impressive win via submission, rear naked choke. We had Patrick Cummins beat Rafael Cavalcante, who has not looked good since testing positive for PEDs a few years back. Lost via TKO, elbows, round number 3. And, a few other decent matches in the prelims. Unfortunately, I was not able to catch. One notable one, Vitor Miranda beat Clint Hester, TUF alum, via TKO in round number 2. So overall, a pretty good card. But, man, 7 fights on the main card. I thought it was going to be awesome, all this action. Instead, it just dragged. Again, when we started this recap, it was 1:30. I was falling asleep in the middle of it. Eugene threw some beer in my face. I don't even drink beer. I hate beer. Eugene threw some Blue Moon or whatever the hell he threw through my face. It was gross. I had to wash my face, but at least it woke me up. Anyway, I was so bored. We decided to broadcast this from the space station rather than the usual TSC studios, and it looks like you guys like it based on our feedback from Instagram and Twitter. So, folks, with all that being said, actually, real quick, I want to point out a comment that Miesha Tate left on Instagram. She took a screenshot of Ronda Rousey's post-fight interview and said, "She won't do that to me." You're right, Miesha Tate. She's not going to do that to you. She's going to submit you in 34 seconds instead. But I digress. Folks, now I want to hear from you. What did you think about UFC 90? Did you fall asleep in the middle like me? Did you think this was too damn long? If you're wondering why this was so long story short, there were visa issues on...
I just got one comment about the fight.
What comment?
I don't know if you can hear me on the mic. Can you hear me?
I don't think we hear you. You got to come closer. All right, we're getting Eugene. Eugene's got a comment about the fight here.
Oh, my comments, Ronda Rousey walking out was one of the scariest things I've ever seen in UFC.
Yeah, if you didn't hear what he said Ronda Rousey walking out was one of the scariest things he's ever seen in the UFC. I think it's actually one of the scariest things I've ever seen, in general. Like if you took I saw
people get their arms and legs broken.
Yeah. If you took the Tales from the Crypt theme song, or the Twilight Zone theme song, or the Jaws theme song, or even the Sharknado theme song, whatever, or the Undertaker theme song, all right, and you put that in the background of any Ronda Rousey walkout, okay, it'll be totally appropriate. That's how scary this freaking walkout was.
The theme song Meek Mill's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But and you know what? Me putting the Undertaker background when Ronda Rousey walking out would be a hell of a lot better than Meek Mill murdering that freaking Undertaker track. I mean, really, Meek Mill, really? Oh my God! All right, we got to get on out of here. I'm getting tired. Why am I talking about Meek Mill during a UFC recap? I don't know. I'm at a freaking space station here. Anyway, I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna try to get back to planet Earth, but I want to hear from you. Did you order this fight? Did you skip this fight because you figured out Ronda would wax this biatch? Son of a bitch! I always wanted to say that. Let me know. Leave a comment below. Tweet us, Facebook us, and now my space station's doing something weird here. All right, it's getting late. You know the deal. Leave a comment below. Tweet us. If you enjoyed this recap, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. Please don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive MMA interviews with all your favorite stars featuring Rampage Jackson, Chael Sonnen, Rich Franklin, the Shamrocks, and many, many more. The list goes on and on. Until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the fights. I'm going to enjoy some of the... What the... Hey, we're not off the air yet, man. Jeez, man.
No, I thought it was going to go...
Yeah, oh, you're... God. Yeah, okay, yeah. My director's tired. I'm tired. I'm going to go watch some animated GIFs of Bethe getting her head taken off on Ronda Rousey's punches. Until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the fights.